We're going to explain how to get rid of blanks in your pivot table. Blank cells in a pivot table can be annoying, making your data look messy and harder to interpret. Fortunately, there are several ways to tackle this problem. 1. Check your source data. The most common cause of blanks in a pivot table is blank cells in your original data source. Before even touching the pivot table, carefully review your raw data for missing values. Make sure all relevant cells are populated with appropriate data, even if it's a 0 or a dash to indicate absence of a value. 2. Using the pivot table's filters. This is often the quickest fix. Pivot tables automatically create filters for each field. Locate the filter for the field showing blanks. Click the filter drop-down arrow, and you'll likely see an option like blanks. Uncheck this blanks option. This directly removes rows or columns entirely containing blanks from your pivot table's summary. 3. Handle blanks with calculated fields. If you need more control, or if the blanks represent something specific, like not applicable, you can use a calculated field. In the Pivot Tables Analyze or Options tab, depending on your Excel version, look for an option to add a calculated field. Within this, you'll create a formula that handles those blank cells. For instance, if blanks represent zeros, your formula might substitute if ice blank field 0 field, which will replace blank cells with zeros before the pivot table summarization happens. This allows you to include the data points, but with a numerical value that's meaningful in your analysis. 4. Using the replace function before creating pivot table. Before even creating the pivot table, you can use Excel's find and replace function to replace blank cells with another value. This is best if the blanks are genuinely unintentional errors rather than representing a specific meaning. Open the Find and Replace dialog box, Ctrl+H or CMD+H. Leave the Find What box empty, this selects blank cells, and enter your desired replacement value, 0, NA, etc. In the Replace With box, be sure to select the entire data range before starting this process. Then create your pivot table. The blanks should now be handled. 5. Dealing with multiple blank columns/rows. If you have multiple columns or rows containing blanks and want to remove those entire rows from your dataset before pivot table creation, use Excel's filtering capabilities. Select the header of the columns with the blanks. Filter the column for blanks. Then, select all visible rows, which are the non-blank rows, and copy them to a new sheet. Create your pivot table using this cleaned up data. Remember to save your work frequently. By following these steps, you can effectively eliminate unwanted blanks from your pivot tables, leading to cleaner and more understandable data analysis.